I wasn't expecting any of this crap when my wife dragged me to her company's annual winter gala. My name's Ethan Cole, and trust me, I'm not the type of guy who enjoys standing around sipping overpriced champagne while pretending to care about corporate jargon and fake smiles. But my wife, Sabrina, had insisted. "It's important to me, Ethan," she'd said. "Everyone brings their spouse." So yeah, I put on a blazer that felt too stiff, fixed my hair twice, and tagged along like a supportive husband, or at least tried to. The event was held at this fancy downtown hotel. Crystal chandeliers, velvet curtains, expensive-ass flower arrangements that probably cost more than my car insurance. The moment we walked in, people were already mingling, laughing fake laughs like they practiced in the mirror. Sabrina tightened her grip on my arm. "Please behave," she whispered. I looked at her like, what the hell does that mean? "I always behave," I mumbled. She shot me that look, the one that basically says, "Don't start your bullshit tonight." Whatever. I told myself I'd play along, smile a little, shake a few hands, grab the free shrimp, and get the hell out before the speeches. But of course, life had other plans. We moved through the crowd and eventually ended up at her department's corner. They all worked in marketing, and you could tell. Everyone looked like they were constantly ready to take a picture for LinkedIn. Then this tall dude with slicked back hair and the "I make twice your salary" smile appeared. Her boss, Brandon Hughes. I'd heard about him. Sabrina talked about him all the damn time. "Oh, Brandon said this. Oh, Brandon liked my presentation. Oh, Brandon thinks I should take the lead on the new campaign." And look, I wasn't jealous. Not at first. But the way she described him sometimes made me wonder if she admired him a bit more than she should have. Still, I trusted her. Or at least I was trying to. Brandon walked up like he was floating. "Well, Sabrina," he said loudly, fake excitement practically dripping off his face. Then his eyes slid to me, slow, judging, like he was scanning me like a barcode. "And this man is—" I blinked. My wife froze. And for a full second, she didn't say a damn word. I wasn't the only one who noticed. A couple of coworkers standing behind him raised their eyebrows. One woman even pressed her lips together like she knew something I didn't. Sabrina finally forced a smile. "Oh, this is Ethan, my husband." That tiny pause? Yeah, it was enough to punch me in the chest. Brandon's smile tightened. "Uh-huh, husband. Right, right? What the hell did he mean right for?" I shook his hand anyway. I'm not rude, but the guy's handshake, limp, damp, and condescending. He barely looked at me when he let go. "So," he said, turning slightly towards Sabrina instead of me, "you never mentioned he'd be joining us." "Never mentioned? Excuse me?" Before I could say something back, one of the HR ladies, Melissa, called everyone toward the main area. Apparently, they were about to play the yearly employee highlight reel. Basically a cheesy video HR put together showing team outings, office events, charity drives, and whatever else made the company look wholesome. Everyone started moving. Sabrina tugged my sleeve. "Let's go," she said, her voice small. I didn't move. "You never mentioned me?" I asked quietly. She swallowed. "Ethan, not right now." Not right now. Classic. But I followed her anyway. We all gathered around these massive screens while the lights dimmed. HR loved their dramatic entrances. The video started normal. Employees laughing, people being fake happy, clips of Brandon giving a speech like he thought he was running for president. Then came footage from different company trips, meetings, dinners. And that's when things turned weird. A clip played showing some rooftop restaurant. Brandon sitting with Sabrina. Just the two of them. Condolee. Wine glasses full. Her smiling in a way she hadn't smiled at me for months. Someone behind us whispered, "Damn, that looks intimate." Someone else chuckled uncomfortably. My jaw locked. I turned to Sabrina immediately. "What the hell is that?" "It's just a work dinner," she whispered sharply. "Stop reacting. Work dinner? Why is it just you two? Why does it look like a damn date, Sabrina?" But before she could answer, another clip rolled. This one was shot in the office. Late hours, lights dim, Sabrina leaning over Brandon's shoulder while he sat at his desk. Too close. Way too close. Close enough that anyone watching would assume something was going on. The people around us started murmuring. You could feel the shift. A mix of curiosity, awkwardness, discomfort. Brandon stepped forward suddenly and snapped at HR. "I told you not to include personal footage." Personal? HR froze. Melissa's face went pale. We didn't realize, but it was too late. The next clip was the worst. It was surveillance footage from the building's lobby. Late night, almost midnight. Brandon and Sabrina walking out together. Him touching her back, her smiling, them getting into the same car. A wave of whispers shot through the crowd, and I felt something inside me snap, like a wire pulled too tight. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process anything except that burning, gut-wrenching feeling that something was really wrong. I stepped back. Sabrina grabbed my hand hard. "Ethan, listen to me." "Don't," I said. "Don't say anything right now." Brandon tried to step between us like he had any right to. "Let's all calm down," he said. I stared him dead in the face. "Move." He didn't. So I stepped forward, chest to chest with him. "You knew damn well how that footage looked. And you still asked. And this man is? Like she was just some woman you go to dinners with." He clenched his jaw. "That footage is taken out of context." "Then give the context," I snapped. But he didn't. Of course he didn't. Sabrina grabbed my arm again. "It's not what it looks like," she said desperately. "Please, Ethan." The lights turned back on. People were backing away like the building was about to explode. HR was whispering to each other, panicked. Brandon looked furious at them. Sabrina looked terrified of me. And me? I felt like the floor was starting to tilt, like everything I trusted was sliding away from under my feet. I finally looked at her, really looked at her. Her eyes glossy, her breathing fast, her lips shaking. "Tell me," I said quietly. "Tell me what the hell is going on." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I can explain. Just not here. Not here. Always not here. Always later. Always running from the truth." I took one slow breath, try not to lose my shit in front of 100 people. "Then we're leaving," I said. She nodded quickly. But Brandon grabbed her wrist, actually grabbed her wrist. "She's staying. We need to debrief this situation." I didn't think, didn't pause, didn't calculate consequences. I shoved him back. Hard. "Don't touch my wife." Gasps echoed around the room. HR started approaching like scared sheep. Sabrina stood between us, shaking. "Stop it. Both of you." Brandon straightened his jacket, glaring. "You're making a scene." "Buddy," I said, "I'm just getting started." But before anything else could happen, HR announced shakily, We need to discuss this privately with Sabrina and Brandon. Company protocol. Company protocol. Bullshit." Sabrina looked at me with panic. "Please, Ethan, let me handle this. I'll meet you at home. I promise." And that's when the doubt buried deep inside me finally clawed its way up. If she were innocent, if everything truly were harmless, she would have left with me. No hosetaschen, no excuses. But she stayed. With him. With HR. With people who had evidence of things she never told me. I walked out of that building feeling like someone had hollowed out my chest. And that's where the real story began. Not inside that ballroom, but outside, when I had to face the possibility that my wife wasn't the woman I thought she was. I drove home on autopilot, barely seeing the road, barely breathing. You know that feeling when your chest feels too tight, like there's a damn fist around your heart? That was me the entire ride. I kept replaying the footage, the rooftop restaurant, the late-night lobby clip, the way Sabrina panicked instead of defending herself. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I wasn't angry anymore. I was terrified. Terrified that the woman I built my life with built another one behind my back. When I got home, I didn't turn on the lights. I just sat on the couch in the dark with my coat still on, staring at the floor, waiting for the sound of her keys. And after about an hour, I heard the door unlock. Sabrina stepped in slowly. "Ethan," she whispered. I didn't answer. She turned on the lamp and froze when she saw me sitting there. "Can we talk?" she said quietly. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. "Yeah," I said. "We're way past the point of not here and not now." "Talk." She set her purse down and walked toward me, but I held up a hand. "Stay right there." She did, and she looked like she'd been crying. Mascara smudged, cheeks red. "Ethan, I swear it's not what you think. Brandon's been complicated. He's been crossing lines. I didn't know how to tell you." "Oh, now you want to tell me?" I said, "after HR plays your little candlelit dinner date on a giant screen?" "It wasn't a date," she insisted. "It was a meeting. He sets these meetings alone sometimes." I scoffed. Right. And the touch on the back in the lobby? That part of the meeting too? Or was that him checking your posture? Her throat tightened. It wasn't romantic. He's been making things uncomfortable for months. I've been trying to manage it professionally. Professionally? I snapped. You got in his car. At midnight. Her voice cracked. I didn't have a ride. He insisted. I felt pressured. Pressed enough to smile about it. She hesitated. And that hesitation hit me harder than anything else. Sabrina, I said, softer now, look me in the eye and tell me nothing happened between you two. She lifted her head. Our eyes met, and she said, it didn't start as anything, but it got messy. I didn't cheat, Ethan. I didn't sleep with him, but I wasn't clear enough with boundaries. I let him treat me like I was available. My stomach dropped. It felt like someone pulled the floor out from under me. So you like the attention, I said, my voice dead flat. She covered her face. I'm so sorry. I was stupid. I didn't think. Yeah, I said, you didn't think. You didn't think I'd ever see that footage. You didn't think I'd notice the way you talk about him. You didn't think I'd question you leaving the office late. She started crying harder, but I wasn't moving. I wasn't comforting her. I couldn't. Did you tell HR anything? I asked. Yes, she whispered. I told them everything about the pressure, the inappropriate comments, the power imbalance, all of it. And you expect me to just believe that? I swear, Ethan. HR called an emergency review. Brandon's getting suspended while they investigate. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Suspended. A corporate slap on the wrist. Big deal. What about us? I asked quietly. That's when her whole face collapsed. Ethan, please. I love you. I never wanted anything with him. I never crossed the final line. I was scared, confused, trying to keep my job without blowing everything up. I should have told you. I'm so sorry. I let her speak. Let her cry. Let her break apart. But inside me, something had already changed. Trust, once it cracks, it never goes back the same way. I stood up slowly. You know what the worst part is? I said, you didn't protect me. You protected your image at work. You protected his ego. You protected the job. Everyone but me. I know, she whispered. And I'll do anything, to fix this. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed a glass of water, just so I'd have something to hold. I need time, I said. Her breath caught. Ethan, please don't leave. I'm not leaving, I said, but I'm not forgiving you tonight. And don't ask me to. She nodded slowly, like her world was coming apart piece by piece. I'll sleep on the couch, she said. I didn't argue, didn't reassure her, didn't soften it. She curled up on the sofa, crying quietly into a blanket. And I went to our bedroom alone, closed the door, stood there in the dark, staring at our wedding picture on the dresser, and wondering if I was looking at two strangers. The next few days were hell. HR kept calling her in for follow-ups. I kept going through the motions at home, barely speaking, barely looking at her. Every silence felt like 1,000 words we were too scared to say. One night, she came home shaken. Brandon got terminated, she said quietly. HR found messages he sent to other women too. They're filing a formal complaint. He might lose his license. Good, I muttered. But even that didn't fix anything inside me. She stepped closer. Ethan, I know what I did wasn't physical cheating, but it broke us. Please let me rebuild this. I'll go to counseling. I'll quit my job. I'll do whatever you need. I looked at her, really looked at her. And for the first time since the footage, I saw someone who wasn't lying. Someone who wasn't hiding. Someone who was scared of losing me. Sabrina, I said, you hurt me. Deep. But I'm not ready to throw us away. We could try, but it's going to be a long climb back. She nodded fast. I'll climb it. Every day. Just don't let this be the end of us. So we started. Slow. Awkward. Painful. Therapy sessions. Long conversations. Honesty that cut like glass. Nights where one of us cried and the other just listened. Months passed. We weren't perfect. We weren't the same. But we were rebuilding something new, something rawer, more honest, more aware of the cracks. And one night, sitting on the balcony with a beer in my hand and her leaning on my shoulder, I finally said the words that had been trapped inside me. I forgive you. And she broke down, whispering thank yous into my shirt. We weren't the couple in that footage. We weren't the people who hid things or swallowed guilt. We were better versions, scarred, imperfect but real. And that's what saved us. If you're reading this, just know betrayal doesn't always have to end a marriage. Sometimes it forces the truth into the light. Sometimes it makes you rebuild everything from scratch. Sometimes it destroys you. Sometimes it saves you. And sometimes it does both. Wherever you're watching from, tell me your country or city in the comments.